Welcome, guys. Welcome to another episode of Blaxploit. I am your host, Keone Howard. Guys, we have changed the format a little bit. We're still filming. We still got some video, but we are putting this and filming this. Also doing a podcast. We are podcasting this out. You'll be able to find us on Anchor Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and we're filming here at LMC TV. So thank you and welcome. I'd like to welcome my guest. I got a guest today. Cassandra Turner, aka Auntie, but I can't tell you the rest. But Auntie,
because if he tells you, he's have to kill you.
Yes, I cannot tell you the rest. She's my special guest, so welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm really, really excited.
So listen, you really gave me a good one this time. This was a recommendation by my aunt, and I must say, I finally got to watch it. I watched it yesterday. And it was fascinating. I got to watch The Spook Who Sat by the Door.
Amazing movie, right?
Fantastic movie, man.
Amazing.
Like this was 1973, and I didn't know what to expect from it because before I watched it, I didn't read anything about it.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna go in there and just go for it.
Right.
After watching it. And get 10 minutes in, I'm like, okay, all right, this is good, this is good. And then they just started with all the content, the story, the narrative was just
amazing.
Yeah,
definitely.
And how it spoke to a lot of stuff going on
Relevancy
today.
Yeah.
So first off, let's talk about one thing I want to talk about first is the character.
Okay.
Right? The main character.
Lawrence Cook.
Yes. He played Dan Freeman.
Dan Freeman.
Tell me a little bit about him first before we go in.
Dan Freeman, who's Lawrence Cook, who plays Dan Freeman.
Yeah.
He's part of a CIA. So the CIA wanted to integrate.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They were like, we've got to integrate. So we're going to try to find one black man who could be in the CIA. And there was a class of, maybe 30. It went down to 10. It went down to 6. And there was one left. And that one was Dan Freeman. And he is pretty much the driving force behind this movie, The Spook Who Sat by the Door.
Yeah.
And he ended up being the only one in the graduating class of African Americans in the CIA, and he worked there for 5 years, and you gotta watch it.
Now he worked there. Okay, so he worked there for 5 years.
I'm
gonna spoil it all.
All right,
people
we'll spoil it.
People are just gonna have to. You're just gonna have to watch and for yourself. He works there for 5 years.
5 years.
And it's very clever because I didn't know. I didn't read anything about it, so I didn't know what his plan was.
Right.
He plans to take all the information he's learning from the CIA,
and bring it
to
the hood. Exactly.
And then start to mold and build warriors and fighters.
Freedom fighters.
Yes. For liberation of freedom and to create his own colony.
Yes.
He mentioned.
Yeah.
Take back what's theirs from the white man. Like
right.
It was
deeper
powerful.
and it was more. It was extremely provocative.
Yeah.
It was riveting, and it was so much deeper than the title. You look at the title, you're like, The Spook That Sat by the Door, and you're like, I don't know if I want to see that.
Right.
And you think you're going for entertainment purposes,
right.
And that is not what you get.
No.
You get a provocative, like seriously insightful, just deep picture that really has so much relevancy today.
Yeah.
And you're really surprised about the outcome and how it ends up playing out. So
right. It was a really cool action crime caper type of movie too,
it was definitely
right?
that. Yes.
Like it had those elements too where it seemed as if it almost seemed like a Mission Impossible type of thing. He's got he's planning out. He needs money,
right?
So they rob a bank.
They rob a bank,
right? They need weapons.
Yep. So they rob
I think it was like
the army.
The army.
How do you rob the army?
He robbed the army
and got military supplies.
Got
$300,000 from the bank.
$300,000 from the bank in 1973.
That's like $300 million right now. That's a lot of money.
My name is Keone Howard. I have 3 attributes that would make me the best candidate for this job. One of them is creativity. I find myself being a very creative person. My wife and I started Scriptly Adapted Entertainment, which is a film review show that we explore different films. We do creative, funky little videos that go along with those with the shows, and we've done it for a very long time. And we are really, really creative with that you guys got to check it out. I find myself to be very ambitious. I go after what I want. I love doing things that are different, and I work hard. I'm a hard worker. I get that from my dad. It's in my blood. So being out there and working and getting the job done is big to me. And I would also say working with others. I get along with people. I love meeting different people from different places, people like-minded who are also creative and just out there and just love being themselves. I love interacting with them as well. I would think those are my top 3.
Give me an example of something you've created that you're really proud of.
Well, I am very proud of Scriptly Adapted. I think Scriptly Adapted is my creative venture. It is what kind of drives my creativity on a daily basis. Talking about films, writing scripts, which we're doing as well, filming skits, working with other friends of mine that also are into the arts. It's just fun to me, and I love it. I have a connection to it, and it's something that I always loved doing, even back in school.
Okay. Would you say being ambitious is a vice or a virtue? And if so, which one do you possess?
I believe being ambitious is a virtue, especially when you do it right, and especially when you're going after what you love, and especially when you're the hardest working person in the room and you get the job done. I feel that is for sure a virtue. But then it can also be a vice if you don't handle it well. And if that means you crossing people, which is obviously wrong. But ambition has run in my blood, it's run in my family. It is something that is big as far as getting the job done and doing what I know needs to get done.
Great. Last but not least, and probably most importantly, how do you work with others in a setting?
Well, working with others is very important. You have to be able to communicate appropriately with other people. You have to be able to also maybe agree to disagree on some things, and that's okay. But I think what's important is that we all come together as a collaborative unit, and that we are able to come up with the next big thing, the next big idea, and just be able to express ourselves to each other, which is big. And getting along with people, I don't have a problem with. I love meeting and knowing new people.
So tell me about one occasion in your life that's been truly memorable that you will never forget.
Wow. The one thing that I must say that stands out the most is when my wife and I won the Best Series Award for our show Scriptly Adapted. It was one of those things where after all the years of us doing, we started off doing podcasts when no one else was doing podcasts at the moment. Our podcast was like an hour long. Then we started to film in our apartment with our computers, and then we went into a studio that wasn't so great, and then we got into a bigger studio, which was now awesome, and which is where we film all our shows now. It just showed the progression of our minds and where we wanted to take the show. And it was one of those things that kind of was, you know what, guys, great job, you did it, the show was awesome. And we appreciate the award, we love the award. It's on our desk as we speak. It was just one of those things that really felt like our work mattered. And I really appreciate the award. That's something that really stands out to me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special Scriptly Adapted show. This is actually our first round table discussion on a very, very awesome film, I must say.
It is.
Very
So excited to talk about.
amazing film. I must say, I am ready to talk about this. What?
Not your favorite, babe. A favorite.
Okay, that
Such as, I don't know, maybe Beauty and the Beast?
that wasn't in the notes.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So,
Right. Okay, so
okay.
well,
We're just going to clear that up, pretend that
right.
never happened.
Sorry about that. Well, let's introduce our guests. We have very special guests with us. We have Mariana Knowles with us.
Hello.
We have Vera Wethington with us as well, here to discuss this film. Thank you, too, for being here on our first roundtable discussion here at Scriptly Adapted, LMC TV. So let's get right into it, all right?
Yeah, I'm excited. So, welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
So, Mariana, aka Mom, do you think this film stayed true to the original 1991 cartoon?
In the main, yes, I'd have to say it does. Once you get past the live action part, you can slip right back into what was.
Yeah.
And aside from the two new songs,
Yeah.
and maybe one or two characters that I don't remember from the first one, yeah, I'd say it stuck pretty close to the original.
All right. What do you think, Vera?
I agree, but I was really happy with the fact that they delved into Belle's and the Beast's background and where Belle came from, and
Right.
play a little bit more on the rose, and showing that as an hourglass kind of
Yeah.
feature for the Beast versus a gift from her dad, that Belle
Right.
wanted versus the rose rattle, when
Yeah.
they went back to Paris. It was pretty, for me, it made the movie deeper. It just,
Right.
it brought
Yes.
it was more cohesive, I think.
And it was also more human, I
Yeah.
think, too. It was, I mean, in 1991, you had the cartoon.
Human. You're playing on
Yeah.
words.
Oh,
It's more human versus animation.
You're right.
Right.
Oh my God. See, I knew it was a good idea.
We knew why we asked you
It was
guys
the right
to do
choice.
this show. Yeah.
Stop. Anyway, no, I totally agree, and I think the scene where she goes to Paris is heart wrenching. But you think of a small little girl talking about love, and you get love from a father figure, but you also do get your nurturing and your maternal love from your mother. And so
Yes.
to have a character like Belle, who's teaching Beast how to be human and how to be humane and have these feelings, that comes from a maternal figure. So it was important, I think, for her to be able to connect to that. So I think it was really interesting to take her back to
And
Paris.
I think a really good point that that was really quick in the film that maybe not many people caught on was that the Beast, the prince, why he was such a jerk to people.
Right.
They mentioned it really quick
Yes,
that his
they did.
father was also a really bad guy.
Right.
So as his mom is sitting in the bed, obviously probably dying, his father comes up to him and just kind of grabs him and takes him away with this look of
Stern.
like stern, I don't care, kind of get over it. So I guess that kind of developed him as a character.
Right, exactly. And also, again, he didn't
that was good.
have that connection
Right.
with his mother because
No,
she
he
died
didn't.
when he was so young.
Right.
And that was really good to see. I think that
it
was
was.
important, those two major
Absolutely.
reasons behind those, the two major points behind those characters.